Your ability to stop getting the same repeat cycle of partners that you have relationships with that don't work, or keep attracting the same people you date over and over again that never winds up working out the way you want it to, is in direct proportion to your ability to recognize the core patterns in all of your scenarios, relationship or dating wise, that are contributing to your results. If you're in that cycle of frustration and annoyance and just being emotionally exhausted, right? Mentally as well, because you keep getting the same kind of people and it just always blows up and it always goes the way it always does. And you start becoming jaded to the whole dating or relationship thing overall. It's because you haven't been identifying the patterns that have been continuing to get you the same results, right? You're not changing your formula, or if nothing else, you're not changing it enough. See, it's not sometimes enough just to make a couple adjustments. You have to do a whole makeover sometimes. Sometimes the adjustments you made are only applicable, get my words right, to the actual surface of the issue, right? Changing a few minor details that don't actually matter towards the root problem as to what's getting you the same results you're getting. But then once you've actually identified the key patterns that are repeating through your relationship and dating dynamics, right? Then it becomes, how well have you done a job at creating and finding what the appropriate adjustment is, right? The actual solution that truly breaks that pattern and starts a better pattern, right? See, it's not enough to just identify it. You have to do something about it in a healthy way. Some people are finally identify the patterns that they're doing, right? So I'll give you an example. Some people will realize that, wow, I keep getting used and taken advantage of in the relationships or the dating dynamics that I'm in, right? And every time I'm with someone, they wind up, getting the better end of the stick than me. And, and I'm always getting used up until they finally leave or whatever the case is. So they notice the core pattern is that they're just overly nice, or they always just, aim to please the other person and all this other stuff. And they let all the stuff happens and the person takes advantage. And so the solution sometimes that person might come to is, oh, I'm going to be hard now. Now I'm not giving you nothing until you give me something. And they come in with this certain kind of energy and this sort of perspective and headspace to where, yeah, you identified the core pattern issue, right? That you're always making it all about everyone else but yourself. But your solution wasn't necessarily healthy. And now you start becoming more of a deterrent to people. You start coming off with negative energy. They can feel it and they're not even wanting to engage you anyways. Or you get very defensive now and you don't become so inviting to want to work with or date or try to build a relationship with in the first place. So one of the best places for you to start to break this kind of cycle that you're in is to first sit back and ask yourself and reflect on what are the top 3 patterns, things that I recognize as similarities in these different dynamics I've had, right? What's the common denominator? Now, let me just go and throw this in as like a cheat sheet answer, right? You are always going to be at the centerpiece of some of this common denominator. But that doesn't mean it's always just about your piece in it. It's also helpful to recognize what are some common denominators in the people that I've been dealing with as well, right? What are the top 3 patterns I can identify, and why are these patterns a root to why I'm getting the poor results that I'm getting, results I don't want? So it can be your role of being too nice and not having any boundaries at all and all these things for the other person. But then also take note to the characteristics of the people you've been attracted to. What are some common patterns in them? Some things that maybe if you actually reviewed it, you could notice these things up front and a lot sooner, to where you won't wind up looking up 2 months, 3 months down the road and you've been kind of liking this person and then things kind of go belly up and you're wondering where it went wrong again. Why did it turn out the same, right? Even noticing patterns such as, all right, who you're usually attracted to up front, that usually shows signs that they're going to be someone similar to the last person you dealt with that wasn't the healthiest person for you. Paying attention to your conversation style. Do you ask the right kind of questions, right? Or are there questions that you don't ask at all that you should be asking, right? Review your process and the type of people that you tend to get entangled with, if you will, to go through this process. And are they even someone that makes sense to what your ultimate goals are relationship wise? And then identify the biggest 3 core root patterns that you can see are a foundation to the results you're getting. right? Yes, you might find other patterns and everything else. Great. The more, the merrier. But at least narrow it down and keep it simple for yourself now to like 3 core ones. And ask yourself what changes, what adjustments need to be made as a new lifestyle in respect to these patterns I'm noticing. What's the fix? What's the antidote to it, right? And always ask yourself, am I coming up with an antidote that is actually serving to me? Meaning it's healthy for me, right? It's helpful, it's positive, it feeds my spirit, it builds me up, right? Is the solution I'm coming to, the adjustment, is it something that's actually going to serve me and not put me in a defensive position or something of negative vibration? And the last piece is always, how do I implement these things tangibly? How do I start getting my reps in and practicing, utilizing these new skills, this new perspective, this new way, this new approach, these new questions, this new way of conversing with the people that I'm dating or trying to build a relationship with, right? How do I start to implement this new plan so it becomes my new me, right? My new lifestyle, not something you're going to try once or twice, right? And see, just like anything else, you need testing samples, right? You need data, if you will. So you never go in with a new plan for something and try it once or twice. And if it didn't go a certain way with that once or twice person, then you say, oh, it doesn't work altogether. No, give it a chance to breathe and work through the kinks and all those things. And if you're out there dating different people, different strokes, different folks, right? Every person's not going to respond the same way, and it's not always going to be the same experience and all that stuff. So give yourself time for this to get worked into the process, as long as you've identified it is accurately what's best to serve you to break the cycle that you've been in, to build new and better patterns, to get new and better results. If you need help learning how to identify the things you've been missing in your dating and relationship experiences, right, that's contributing to the results you don't want, so you can get the results you do want, email or DM me the word coaching and we'll get the work, as long as you're truly ready to put the work in. If you're not ready for, don't have the time or the space, one-on-one coaching right now, then email or DM me the word revival to join my Relationship Revival Hub community, where you can learn the same things I teach my clients one-on-one at your own time, on your own pace, right? And the big piece with the community is everything I do in there is tailored specifically to the members in the community. So to the courses I have, and even the content is specialized to whatever you're looking to learn or whatever you need to get the results you need to get. So if you're in the dating stage, you need help getting yourself to that committed relationship, I got you. If it's about you repairing your relationship, I got you. If you're just looking to even learn how to build a healthy relationship, all things under the sun is covered in that community and specialized to those there that really want to get those results. So if nothing else, as always, get in the race. Let's get it.